Welcome to Sleep Science Top 1. Tonight, we softly explore the gentle wonders of personality and what makes you uniquely you. That subtle constellation of characteristics, feelings, and memories that make you completely and totally you. Even as it gently shifts like twilight fading into night, personality remains the private mark of your inner world. It may be influenced by your ancestors' DNA or by significant life events. Our bravery, our worries, our generosity, our humor, and the unseen patterns that direct our love, thought, and worldview all reside somewhere within it. The connections between all of these elements, from molecules to memories, from thought to temperament, are still being discovered by science. We will therefore explore what makes each of us so distinctly human, yet incredibly unique, as we meander through that inner universe tonight. I encourage you to like, subscribe, or leave a comment below if you appreciate these peaceful excursions. One drowsy soul at a time, it assists others in making their way here as well. But just take a breath for now. Allow the magic of the intellect to hold your thoughts while your eyes grow drowsy. Let's get started. A portion of your personality is encoded in your genetic material. Gentle genetic signals quietly suggest the person you can become, tucked deep inside every cell of your body. Some sequences affect how quickly you recover from stress, how receptive you are to rewards, and how you process emotions. The areas of the brain that control impulse, empathy, and attention are shaped by genes. DNA, however, is not fate. Through molecular switches that turn genes on or off, every life event, friendship, and heartbreak dances with those inherited scripts and rewrites them. This discussion between biology and experience is known to scientists as epigenetics, and it lasts the entirety of your life. Your character is not set in stone. It is a living reflection of your past and present, always changing as your cells react to the environment you live in. Remarkable personality similarities often persist in identical twins, even when they've grown up in entirely separate worlds. Researchers have discovered startling similarities between siblings who were split up at birth after decades of twin investigations. Some people have remarkably similar life choices, from occupations to how they laugh, in addition to having similar likes in humor or art. These similarities imply that temperament is strongly influenced by genetics. However, the distinctions, tiny peculiarities molded by distinct surroundings, showcase the inventiveness of personality. Experience dictates the lines, but genes may set the scene. Twins frequently mimic one another's emotional patterns, decision-making processes, and stress responses, even in the absence of shared environments, suggesting that the structure of personality has strong biological origins. However, their individuality demonstrates that nurture, circumstance, and happenstance may still create something completely unique. Like two painters rendering the same face under shifting sunlight, nature and nurture blend seamlessly in every pair of twins. Your degree of introversion or extroversion is shaped by the unique neural pathways wired throughout your brain. Billions of neurons create complex electrical communication pathways inside the skull. Differential signatures appear when researchers use functional imaging to map these brain networks. Stronger connections between reward centers and attention networks are frequently seen in extroverts, which makes them more receptive to novelty and social stimulation. In contrast, introverted brains often show richer internal connections, especially in regions for imagination, memory, and quiet reflection. This internal wiring prioritizes quiet attention over continuous involvement and depth over breadth. Because they represent distinct approaches to navigating the world, neither pattern is superior. While one thrives on inner equilibrium, the other on outward vitality. Just as no two fingerprints match, no two brain connectomes, the unique map of your neural pathways are ever the same. The way these brain pathways hum together to generate the rhythm of thought that determines how each of us interacts with others is the source of personality, to the self, and to stillness. How often your mind wanders is partly shaped by the strength and activity of your brain's default mode network. The brain's default mode network, a network of regions that activates during daydreaming, memory recall, and inner reflection, comes alive when your thoughts begin to drift. Stronger ties within this network are typically found in those who spend more time daydreaming. It connects far-flung concepts and possibilities, turning into a sort of mental playground, far from mere distraction. Daydreaming quietly hones your empathy, sparks creativity, and sharpens problem-solving in the background of your mind. Research indicates that the tone of this network's activity is reflected in the nature of your inner world, whether it be inquisitive or nervous. It creates insight in restless minds and paints visions in tranquil ones. It may intensify anxiety. The same circuitry that allows us to wander through fantasy also enables us to make art, plan futures, and comprehend other people. Long before words leave your lips, your brain quietly rehearses countless versions of reality in the private theater of thought. Your tendency toward optimism or anxiety is influenced by specific genes. Certain threads in our genetic code help regulate key neurotransmitters, the very molecules that tint our emotions with hope, calm, or worry. These include serotonin and dopamine. The degree to which we experience calm or anxiety, hope or worry, can be influenced by differences in these genes. For instance, individuals with a specific serotonin transporter gene variant may react to stress more strongly, whilst others exhibit innate resilience. However, learning determines whether or not we pass through the door that genetics only opens. Nutrition, upbringing, and mindset can all influence these chemical balances. Therefore, optimism is a dynamic condition that arises from a biology-meeting perspective rather than a set gift. Although your DNA may indicate certain tendencies, the volume of that voice is determined by your experiences and decisions. Meaning and chemistry work together to create emotional viewpoint. Even a tiny single letter change in your DNA can subtly shift aspects of your temperament. With roughly 3 billion letters in the human genome, one small misplaced letter can sometimes ripple outward, gently influencing behavior. A subtle alteration to a gene's base pair can affect a neurotransmitter receptor's sensitivity to fear, novelty, or social reward. Even though they are little, these alterations have the power to modify the brain's chemical equilibrium and influence patterns of caution or interest. These subtle chemical shifts tune the instrument of your mind. They guide the melody, but never write the entire song. They contribute to the evolutionary experiment of personality across successive generations, providing diversity to a species that depends on adaptation. That slight difference could spur bravado in one individual and careful contemplation in another. Numerous micro-edits, each representing a biological brushstroke in the larger picture of identity, are carried by the human psyche. The stresses of early childhood can leave deep marks on personality, tuning the nervous system to be more watchful. But many parents discover that those very experiences turn them into the gentle, protective presence their own children need most. A young brain learns to adapt to uncertainty or threat, reshaping its emotional wiring to prioritize safety above all. Emotion-regulating hormones become hypersensitive, preparing the body for perpetual alertness. Adult personalities, characterized by caution, anxiety, or intense empathy for others in distress, may result from this. However, resilience frequently sprouts from the same soil. The quiet, steady love of even one caring adult, like the parent you are striving to be, can heal those old wounds, gently teaching the nervous system and your child's what real safety feels like. Re-educating the nervous system about safety. Neural pathways can be gradually rewired toward calm and trust after they have been tuned to threat. Although the effects of early stress may never fully disappear, they can develop into strength, a keen sense of other people's suffering, or a strong desire for stability. The story of who you become begins the moment a newborn brain starts learning to navigate the storms or gentle warmth of its first surroundings, not just from fixed biology alone. Consistent long-term meditation can softly reshape elements of your personality over time. Long-term meditation alters the structure of the mind in addition to calming it. Brain imaging studies show thicker areas associated with emotional regulation, compassion, and attention. People frequently report feeling more patient, open, and less reactive as their awareness grows. The technique gradually modifies characteristics like impulsivity or neuroticism by teaching the nervous system to pause before habit takes over. The regular process of breathing again turns into a neural practice for composure over the course of months and years. With consistent mindful practice over the years, even deeply rooted adult personality traits can gradually soften and evolve in subtle ways. The mind begins to simply observe thoughts drifting past like clouds in the sky, instead of chasing after each one. Emotions used to dictate conduct, but they now fluctuate like the weather. Over months and years of steady practice, meditation quietly reshapes who you are from within, breath by breath, helping you become the calmer, more patient parent you want your child to remember. How patient and kind you can be with your kids each day, or how quickly frustration rises, is closely tied to how well you slept the night before. A rested mind gives you the grace to respond with love instead of reaction. The brain's emotional pathways become disorganized when the body doesn't get enough sleep. The amygdala, the hub of threat perception, outweighs the prefrontal cortex, which aids in impulse control and empathy. A shorter fuse, less patience, and a dimmed ability to connect are the outcomes. In personality tests, those who regularly get enough sleep exhibit better emotional control and higher agreeableness ratings. Small adjustments, like earlier bedtimes, a darker room, or quieter evenings, can gently reset your mood and bring fresh perspective. Sleep restores chemical balance and removes metabolic waste from neurons, acting as nightly maintenance. Without it, our thoughts become hazy and impulsive. It helps us rediscover perspective, laughter, and kindness. Every dream cycle serves as a practice for emotional equilibrium, serving as a reminder that a rested brain is not only more acute, but also more compassionate. The trillions of tiny microbes in your gut quietly shape your mood and emotional steadiness. Simple daily choices, like better eating, can help you stay calmer and more present for the little moments with your children. Through chemical signals and the vagus nerve, your gut microbiome forms a living bridge that speaks directly to your brain. Neurotransmitters like serotonin and gamma-aminobutyric acid, which affect resilience, optimism, and anxiety, are produced by some bacterial species. The brain receives calmer signals when this internal environment is in harmony. Stress reactions become more intense. According to probiotic research, changing the makeup of the gut may subtly affect social behavior and even emotional tone. The music of personality seems to be enhanced by an invisible chorus of germs. In addition to your thoughts, digestion, nutrition, and microbial balance all contribute to your mood, patience, and self-assurance. A portion of the music that makes you feel like yourself is composed by trillions of microscopic creatures that hum along with your nervous system in the calm recesses of your gut. The brain chemical dopamine is handled in distinctly different ways by introverts compared to extroverts. Although dopamine is frequently referred to as the feel-good chemical, its primary functions are reward-seeking and motivation. For extroverts, dopamine often acts like a welcoming green light, urging them toward new faces, lively places, and fresh experiences. Fresh faces, loud environments, surprises, a flurry of social activity, and fresh opportunities are all perceived as thrilling and enjoyable. The same dopamine flow can feel intense or even draining to introverts, like the volume turned up too loud on a favorite song. Introverts often recharge best through calm focus, deep conversation, and meaningful connection, rather than high-energy stimulation. This is partially due to the fact that they are less dependent on continual novelty seeking and more on slower, quieter neurochemical reward systems associated with introspection and comprehension. Therefore, introverts do not secretly wish to be alone themselves because they don't like people. The reason is because their neurological systems are adjusted to a more relaxed gaming environment. Silence, soft surroundings, and connection that breathes rather than yells are deeply comforting to them. Each design has its own unique intelligence. There are two types of exploration, inside and outward. People high in conscientiousness usually show heightened activity in the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex, located directly behind your forehead, assists you in making plans, avoiding temptation, and maintaining organization in a complex world that continuously attempts to divert your focus. Individuals with high conscientiousness ratings, those who are dependable, organized, cautious, and fulfill their commitments, generally have higher baseline engagement in this area. This implies that their mental brake mechanism remains operational. Therefore, impulses don't always translate into acts. They hesitate. They assess. Is this wise? They ask. Conscientious persons are frequently characterized as trustworthy, in part because of their ongoing micro-regulation. They foresee repercussions before mayhem breaks out. But there's a price. Constantly planning ahead might lead to stress, remorse, or a fear of disappointing other people. However, it also promotes self-respect, healthy habits, and long-term objectives. In a sense, the prefrontal cortex is the silent protector of upholding one's word. Higher levels of openness to experience often come with more fluid communication across different brain regions. The personality trait associated with curiosity, inventiveness, a fondness for unconventional concepts, and a need for novelty is openness to experience. Richer connection across brain regions that typically remain somewhat more isolated in others is frequently seen in people with high openness. Logic handling areas start to communicate with emotion handling areas more naturally. Memory and language-related sensory areas exchange information with those that process color and sound. This makes the inner landscape more malleable, allowing for the emergence of unanticipated thinking combinations. A person like this might hear a piece of music and immediately visualize colors, or they might hear a single statement and have a completely other perspective on how the world might function. Those that are highly open also tolerate ambiguity, which can be explained by this ongoing blending. They sense possibilities where others perceive chaos. They literally have a remix-ready brain. It is a creative engine that continuously creates new reality maps. Higher neuroticism is linked to more intense and persistent emotional memories. The term neuroticism describes a propensity for anxiety, stress, or mood fluctuations. Although it is sometimes viewed as a defect, it actually represents a certain nervous system tactic. Emotional events, particularly those that are unpleasant or dangerous, are frequently more vividly and persistently etched in the memories of those with high neuroticism scores. The brain's memory storing and danger detecting areas communicate more intensely. Fear, loss, and embarrassment can therefore reverberate for a very long period. This sometimes makes day-to-day living more difficult because even minor stressors seem urgent and personal. However, this enhanced memory also bestows something potent. It quickly raises awareness of possible danger, interpersonal conflict, or deceit. It increases one's awareness of other people's emotional states. It challenges the mind to look for trends and foresee issues before they arise. Deep alertness is another name for what appears to be anxiousness. People that are very amiable exhibit greater coordinated brain activity with other people. Kindness, warmth, patience, and a readiness to collaborate rather than rule are characteristics of agreeableness. The brains of amiable people tend to resonate with those around them when they interact. Neural rhythms in empathy-related regions, such as those that interpret emotional tone and facial expressions, start to mimic the other person. This is referred to as coupling at times. It can be compared to two nerve systems entering the same emotional space. Predicting needs, minimizing conflict, and providing comfort are all made easier by this alignment. It also clarifies why agreeable people may feel exhausted after being in stressful or hostile situations. They don't merely observe distress in their minds. They absorb it to some extent. The gift of agreeableness is peacekeeping and connection. Sometimes the price is emotional weariness. A neural system that constantly says, "I want us to be all right," lies beneath it all. There may be subtle hints about your temperament in your handwriting. Writing by hand is a motor habit. It is a page with the nervous system, muscle, and habit all frozen together. Although there is little scientific evidence to support graphology in the fortune-telling sense, there are some recurring, subtle links between temperament and writing style. Individuals who write under a lot of strain occasionally score higher on intensity and urgency, as if their emotions are thrust into their hands. While very open, rounded, fluid writing can have a slight correlation with sociability and spontaneity, people with small, tight, controlled letters frequently exhibit caution, inhibition, or meticulous attention to detail. Slant is important. A forward lean can convey excitement, engagement, and approach. Reserve may be indicated by a backward lean. This is not fate. However, it serves as a reminder that the brain is a physical organ. Ideas are not the only places where thoughts exist. They spread to the fingertips, wrists, and shoulders. Every curve and loop is a physical reflection of your emotional and energy management. After a stroke or significant brain injury, personality traits can shift in unexpected ways. Damage to the brain can change not just movement and memory, but also the patterns that define an individual's identity. Even someone who is stable and composed can become impetuous and direct. A person who is outgoing and expressive may become reserved and quiet. Occasionally, the opposite occurs, and a person who was previously afraid of taking risks becomes fearless, assertive, and determined. A person's expression of anger, desire, or melancholy may vary if they have damage to places like the frontal lobes, which can impair inhibition and self-monitoring. Family members may feel as though they are speaking to the same body, but not the same presence, which can be upsetting. However, there is more than one side. The brain is malleable. Aspects of the former personality may reappear or reassemble into something subtly new over time, and new pathways may emerge. The self is not a statue. It is a dynamic pattern with the ability to fracture, recover, and reorganize. Musical preferences show steady connections to personality traits across cultures and time periods. Music is the auditory expression of emotion. People with high extroversion and sensation-seeking scores are more likely to enjoy fast-paced, high-energy music with a strong beat. Music that is slow, contemplative, and has intricate lyrics appeals more to introverted and thoughtful listeners. Unusual harmonies, experimental structures, or new genres that the majority of people haven't heard yet appeal to those with high openness levels. Orderly, polished, and predictable music is often preferred by conscientious listeners. The fact that these connections recur often across various cultural backgrounds, rather than just in one nation or language, is what makes this astounding. Music is the nervous system's nourishment, and personality manifests itself in what feels good to the neurological system. You don't just choose music to listen to when you're feeling overwhelmed or exhausted. They are rules. They serve as a reminder to your emotional circuitry of what it means to feel protected. The rhythm and style of your walk can subtly reveal traits like openness, confidence, or inner strength. People are reading us before we even say a word. Clues can be found in posture, stride length, head position, shoulder looseness, tempo, rhythm, and the amount of space we occupy when moving. Long strides, a raised chest, and a fixed forward stare are all signs of confidence, dominance, and even intimidation. People are frequently perceived as friendly, imaginative, or open-minded when they walk with a more fluid pace, softer shoulders, and a relaxed sway. Walking quickly and jerkily when tense in the neck can be viewed as impatient, nervous, or stressed. Of course, these perceptions are not always accurate, but the human brain is designed to make snap judgments about trust and threat. State is aired by gait. Intention is communicated through gait. Bodies were speaking long before language developed. Everywhere you go, just by existing in gravity, you unconsciously send signals in every corridor and sidewalk. Your voice pitch may unintentionally convey confidence. A voice is a physical phenomenon. After exiting the lungs, air travels via vibrating folds in the throat, reverberates through the head and chest, and exits formed by the lips and tongue. The throat muscles tend to remain relaxed when a person is confident and at ease, even if the speaker is not genuinely more knowledgeable. This frequently results in a slightly deeper, steadier tone that listeners perceive as grounded. Tiny muscles strain, airflow shifts, and pitch increases when someone is nervous. This tension is unjustly interpreted by listeners as insecurity. This reaction is quick and unintentional. In an effort to match social energy, people also quietly mimic one another by changing the pitch of their own voices during conversations. In this sense, confidence might sometimes be more about resonance than content. Your nervous system is always scanning the voice for authority and safety beneath the words. People with certain scents can come off as more reliable. Scent bypasses the slower, more rational filters and enters directly into the parts of the brain that deal with emotion and memory. Tiny chemical cues associated with stress hormones and immune system markers are carried by the natural body odor of humans. These chemical residues can provide others a sense of security and familiarity when the person is relaxed, healthy, and not under a lot of stress. Even before a single word is spoken, some neutral, fresh, or cozy fragrances might boost perceived trustworthiness in initial impressions. This manifests itself in cooperation, early attraction, and social bonding. People whose fragrance signature subtly conveys constancy tend to make us feel more at ease. When you know what the brain is doing, this process doesn't feel magical. It is posing a straightforward query while searching for biological hints. With you, am I safe? Your nose casts its vote long before you consciously choose whether or not to like someone. The length of eye contact affects how assertive a person appears. Making eye contact is a biological negotiation. If you look for too long, you may come across as apprehensive, obedient, or disinterested. If you hold it for too long, you may come out as demanding, passionate, or even hostile. There is a range in the center that seems assured and deferential. When you make eye contact, your brain reacts significantly. Heart rate fluctuates. Students may enlarge. It can be both exhilarating and distressing, since reward circuits and threat circuits can both engage simultaneously. Cultural background is important, since direct stare has varied connotations in different cultures. However, the biochemistry at play is incredibly complex. The eyes are social lightning among monkeys, and we are social primates. People who are able to maintain eye contact at the right moment are frequently perceived as confident, competent, and even leader-like, without ever having to express it out. Who thinks they belong in the room is revealed by the eyes. Genuine emotion can be shown through microexpressions more quickly than through thought. A microexpression is a brief, involuntary flash of facial muscle activation that happens faster than a blink. Even when someone is attempting to conceal their feelings, these flashes can reveal wrath, disdain, surprise, fear, or excitement. Before conscious control intervenes to calm or filter the emotional reaction, the brain initiates it. That implies that occasionally, before someone chooses what to show you, you get a glimpse of how they really feel. People with high levels of empathy or social awareness learn to recognize these cues quickly. In practice, most individuals already read them intuitively, but law enforcement and clinical psychologists occasionally receive training to recognize them. Even if someone claims to be all right, there are times when you can tell they are not. You already knew the truth from their face. Deep aspects of your personality are reflected in the words you use. Language is more than just our words. It's how we transform ideas into sound. Words like social, excitement, and energy are more frequently used by extroverts. Precise, contemplative, and sensory-focused language is frequently utilized by introverted people. Words of warmth and concern are more common among very pleasant people, whereas words of logic, structure, and control are more common among highly analytical people. Even function words, which are small, bridging words like and, or, but, or, because, can reveal how a person mentally arranges their experiences. Because they represent consistent attentional habits, these patterns appear in emails, texts, and casual conversations, and have a tendency to remain consistent over time. The mouth follows the mind's attention to what is important to it. Each statement serves as a tiny behavioral fingerprint in this sense. You have no choice but to express your thoughts. Sometimes a person's face alone can accurately anticipate a trait. People make first impressions very quickly, almost startlingly quickly. People often make assumptions about a person's warmth, dominance, openness, and even honesty just by looking at their face. Although these estimations are not always accurate and may be unfair or biased, they are remarkably constant when made by strangers. Reading the microtension in the muscles, posture, and expression of the face contributes to this. A portion of it originates from subtle cues associated with hormone exposure throughout development, which can leave traces in the structure of the brows, eye spacing, and jawline shape. Because deciding whom to trust was a survival issue during deep evolutionary time, the brain developed to make rapid decisions. The amazing thing is that romantic partners, juries, and employers all still react to these first impressions. Your face is more than just how you seem. Other nervous systems use it as preliminary information on how to approach you. Different emotions can be displayed on the left and right sides of the face. Each half of the brain primarily controls the opposite half of the face, and the two parts of the brain do not convey emotion in exactly the same way. As a result, there is a slight emotional imbalance. Because the right hemisphere, which plays a major role in emotional regulation, shapes the left side of the face more directly, the left side of the face often displays slightly stronger real feelings, particularly melancholy or tenderness, dumb, processing. Without being aware of the neuroscience, portrait artists throughout history, particularly in the classical and Renaissance styles, frequently positioned their models with their left cheek turned toward the observer because it felt more human, soulful, and revealing. Even hiding one half of a photographed face and then the other can be used to test this. They frequently feel like two very distinct individuals. There is no one expression we wear. We simultaneously wear two parallel manifestations of our inner selves. Scent and tone are two ways that animals might pick up on human personality traits. Dogs in particular are remarkably sensitive to vocal and chemical cues that humans hardly notice. Dogs are able to differentiate between sweat collected during calm stages and perspiration gathered during nervous situations, based only on fragrance, and they adapt their behavior accordingly. Additionally, they react differently to voices that convey a calm, certain rhythm than to ones that convey anxiety or dread. Horses react to human body tension and vocal energy as well. They may mimic human stress or settle when a human settles. This implies that your personality is more than what other people perceive. Other creatures are able to read it. Your nervous system's music is what the animal is continuously listening to. Many animals will approach you more voluntarily if you are kind, gentle, patient, and non-threatening. This isn't because of magic. Rather, it's because their survival instincts tell them that your presence controls their environment, rather than upsetting it. We frequently don't realize how much our digital personas reflect our true selves. People frequently believe they are creating a new self when they create online personas or profiles. Instead, Projection takes place in silence. People who are introverted are more likely to create avatars that are honest and approachable, or that closely mimic their actual appearance. In order to convey charisma, confidence, and attention-seeking, extroverts tend to experiment more with stylization, dramatic color, and bold clothing or posture choices. Taller or sharper-looking avatars are typically chosen by those who feel powerful. Softer shapes, gentler eyes, and warmer color schemes are frequently chosen by those who feel vulnerable. Even a virtual character's stance, open and expansive, as opposed to closed and guarded, corresponds with their actual sense of self-worth. To put it another way, the avatar turns into a mood map. It's not a haphazard ornament. Beneath the shyness of everyday life, it is an X-ray of the person's identity as they wish to feel or think they really are. Personality can be predicted more accurately by online behavior patterns than by friends. What you like, what you repost, how frequently you comment, what interests you, and the language you use online all leave an impression. Algorithms can evaluate this trace to estimate general personality traits like agreeableness, extroversion, emotional stability, and openness. In certain studies, these predictions were more accurate than guesses from casual friends or co-workers when it came to self-report questionnaires. It makes sense, but it sounds unsettling. Surface charm does not divert algorithms. Repetition is being tracked. What you repeatedly choose to do is where personality is most evident. Your digital life eventually turns into a mirror of your behavior. It shows how you really act when you're at ease and unguarded, not who you claim to be in a formal situation. What seems insignificant to you is actually a map of your psychological signature, a pattern-seeking system. Your character can even be inferred from the way you use emojis. Emojis started out as little text decorations, but have since developed into emotive substitutes for facial expressions, body language, and voice intonation. Warm, affiliative emojis, like hearts or smiling faces, are frequently used by people with high agreeableness scores because they wish to preserve peace and reassure others that the message is amicable. Unusual or playful emojis are frequently used by people with high openness, and they can occasionally be creatively combined to create new meanings. Conscientious people tend to use emojis less frequently, preferring clarity to flourish. Frequency is important too. Excessive use in professional settings can indicate a comfort level with informality, which frequently coincides with social boldness and extroversion. You are not merely typing feelings in that sense. In digital space, you are broadcasting your interpersonal relationships, how you invite intimacy, how you soften edges, and how you handle emotional distance. Your personality affects how you perceive time. While some people find that an hour is sufficient to preserve a memory, others find that entire days pass by as if time has softened its edges. This rhythm is subtly changed by personality. People who are conscientious typically view time as quantifiable and structured, breaking it up into manageable chunks that suit their schedules. Time is perceived more fluidly by open and creative minds, as if moments blend together in a creative flow. While calm temperaments allow time to pass by without notice, those with higher levels of anxiety may feel as though every second is endless. The texture of time is bent by attention, emotion, and self-awareness. According to researchers studying temporal perception, moments grow when you are focused and awake. They disappear when engrossed or happy. The internal tempo that determines a lifetime's pace is set by personality. What moves more quickly or more slowly is not the clock. The pulse of the mind is what alters its melody. Risk-takers believe that time is passing more quickly. People with adventurous personalities frequently believe that life passes by in bright, brief bursts. Risk-takers' bodies release dopamine and adrenaline in response to novelty or challenge, which shortens the sense of duration but sharpens focus. This is due to the fact that intense stimulation compresses the perception of an event's duration by flooding working memory with information. As a result, life feels exciting but ephemeral. Experiences that elicit strong feelings and capture attention appeal to these people. They don't hesitate for long. They plunge into the present. On the other hand, cautious minds use analysis and anticipation to prolong moments. The distinction is physiological as well as psychological. With roots in neural rhythm and arousal, risk-takers live in the present because excitement blurs the lines between moments, not because they are in a rush. They are rewarded with vividness, a feeling that each moment, even if it is fleeting, burns brighter. People who are conscientious typically make longer-term plans. Some people have an innate tendency to look forward, as if their minds are drawn to the future. Like gardeners preparing soil months before the first bloom, conscientious people plan their time. When making decisions about the future, their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that controls goals and delayed rewards, remains more active. As a result, there is a sense of consistency and structure, but there is also the burden of ongoing awareness. They balance obligation and desire by visualizing results before they occur. Discipline is not punishment to them. It's cozy. They reduce uncertainty through planning. They excel at leadership, learning, and perseverance because of their capacity to envision actions before they are taken. But humanity is present even in their accuracy. They adjust quietly and resolutely when plans change. Although conscientiousness may give the impression that time is linear and purposeful, it is actually a gentle rhythm of care that directs decisions toward meaning rather than just success. Mental time travel into the past is more common in neurotic individuals. For people with intense and erratic emotions, time is a loop that bends backward rather than a straight line. Individuals with high neuroticism frequently go back and relive memories in great sensory detail. During recall, their brain's emotional centers stay active, making memories seem new and almost real. This inclination can trap the mind in replay, but it evolved as a means of anticipating danger. Every loss or failure that is recalled serves as a practice for future security. However, empathy and insight are found within that same sensitivity. Because they are skilled at analyzing emotions, people who reflect on the past frequently have an exceptionally deep understanding of others. Their thoughts are like a mirror and an echo, reflecting the past and influencing the future. When they become conscious, their introspection transforms into wisdom, transforming regret into contemplation and memory into significance. Extroverts have more optimistic time estimates. Time often feels abundant to those who thrive on interaction and energy. Because they think there is always room for more, extroverts often underestimate how long tasks will take. Their dopamine-rich brains lean toward reward and anticipation. Concern for boundaries is overshadowed by the thrill of what could occur. This optimism keeps life active by igniting passion and social interaction. Their sense of capacity is stretched by joy, so when they say just a minute, it frequently turns into 10. Time is typically measured more precisely by introverts, who process and perceive events more deeply. However, extroverts gain from having a flexible perspective. It enables them to jump, take chances, and live life to the fullest. They see the clock as a friend rather than a limitation. Each hour shines so brightly before it fades, making the hours seem shorter. Your personality is reflected in how you recall your past. Emotion creates the mosaic that is memory. Optimistic minds arrange their pieces into triumphant patterns, turning adversity into lessons learned and tenacity into pride. More people with pessimistic or cautious personalities remember the challenges and use them as a guide to protect themselves. While ambitious minds concentrate on goals attained or missed, highly agreeable people cling to moments of kindness and connection. The outcome is a story molded by temperament rather than a record. Every memory act is a storytelling exercise in which your individuality determines which details are important and which are less important. Researchers discover that emotional bias in memory preserves a cohesive sense of self. Your values are reflected in the memories you treasure. The past itself remains unchanged, but how you handle it can make it a source of inspiration, a teacher, or a burden. The future is more vividly imagined by some people than by others. Some people can visualize every aspect of a future moment, including light, color, and even the sound of footsteps. Others only catch a glimpse of the faint outlines. This discrepancy results from the communication between the brain networks responsible for memory and imagination. Stronger links between the visual cortex, which paints new experiences, and the hippocampus, which stores prior ones, are seen in people with high levels of conscientiousness and openness. As if practicing reality, they use bits and pieces of memory to construct scenes in the future. Because their minds perceive goals as already partially real, people who have vivid imaginations tend to plan more efficiently and feel more motivated. However, when those future visions become gloomy, a vivid imagination can also intensify anxiety. Anxiety can be fostered by the same brain gift that stimulates creativity. Imagination serves as a mirror and a map in every mind, showing not only what we want to see, but also how we envision ourselves developing. Even when reminded of failures, optimists tend to forget them more easily. An optimistic person may smile as if it were someone else's when you ask them about a setback. Negative memories are less painful in their brains, especially in areas that control emotion. Resilience and optimism are maintained by this selective recall. It is adaptation rather than denial. They maintain motivation by concentrating on advancement rather than suffering. Conversely, pessimists recall mistakes more clearly and view them as lessons to be learned. This can weigh them down, even though it helps them get ready for challenges in the future. Like gardeners, optimists trim their memories to create space for new growth by allowing wilted moments to fade. Over time, mood, confidence, and even health are shaped by this bias toward positive recall. Their minds paint a lighter picture of the world they live in, remembering the sunrise more than the storm, even though it is no brighter than anyone else's. Even in secure settings, pessimists concentrate on potential threats. The human brain has evolved to prioritize danger over pleasure, and in certain individuals, this alertness never fades. The amygdala is more active in people who are more pessimistic and remains vigilant about possible danger or loss. They envision challenges long before they arise, practicing solutions to issues that might never arise. The world may seem uncertain because of this continual scanning, but it also offers caution and foresight. This exact awareness is the reason why so many planners, engineers, and safety specialists succeed. If unchecked, though, it narrows the field of perception to the point where opportunity also appears to be danger. Balance is restored by teaching the mind to recognize kindness, safety, and beauty. Then caution becomes wisdom, and vigilance becomes discernment. Misery is not sought after by the pessimistic mind. It tries to exert control over a world that frequently defies it. Your personality stability is closely related to your sense of self-continuity. Think of your life as a chapter-by-chapter book. The story may seem smooth to some, but not to others. It reads like a collection of disconnected stories. Self-continuity is this sense of continuity over time, and it is partially influenced by personality. A strong sense of identity is typically maintained by emotionally stable people who use memory to incorporate the past into their current objectives. Individuals with high levels of neuroticism or openness may experience more significant changes from year to year. Researchers discover that the medial prefrontal cortex, which connects memories to identity, is involved in this discrepancy. A stable connection gives personality a sense of stability. Life becomes a continuous process of reinvention when it changes. There is beauty in both states. One provides serenity, the other rejuvenation. After all, the self is not static. It is a river that, despite its continuous flow, stays and remembers its source. Your personality affects the intensity of your emotions. Everybody's heart beats differently. Joy and excitement are often felt more strongly by extroverts, whose reward circuits shine like lanterns in the dark. People with high levels of neuroticism experience pain and anxiety more intensely, and their amygdalae retain emotions for longer. People who are agreeable feel other people's joys and sorrows as though they were their own skin. Conscientious people use perspective and control to calm themselves by controlling their emotions through thought. These variations guarantee a range of human responses to life. While some carry shelter, others carry sunlight. They produce balance when combined. Strong emotions are neither a gift nor a weakness. It's texture, though it is composed by the structure of the mind and performed through experience. Emotion flows through each personality like a distinct melody. The music of emotion plays differently in each face, reminding us that the human heart is infinitely varied, even in a single moment. Stronger responses to rewards are displayed by extroverts. Extroverts get excited when opportunity presents itself, even before it does. Social situations and challenges feel energizing because their dopamine systems react enthusiastically to novelty and anticipation. They are motivated to explore, reach out, and act swiftly out of curiosity by this neural sensitivity. Their passion is rewarded by connection and exploration in the world. Although introverts experience rewards as well, they frequently find fulfillment in introspection or mastery. Living at a faster pace, extroverts confidently pursue opportunities. Although this optimism encourages advancement and social cohesiveness, it can also result in overcommitment or risk. Everyone around an extrovert is lifted when they celebrate or share their excitement. It appears that evolution favors that light, and their joy is infectious. The sparkle of pursuit and the way they make life seem like a celebration are more important than the reward itself. The amygdala's sense of threat is heightened by neuroticism. The amygdala is the brain's protector of safety, raising the alarm whenever danger is detected. For neurotic people, this guardian is rarely at rest. It fires more intensely and more frequently, tainting perception with caution and anxiety. A fleeting silence during a conversation can be interpreted as rejection, or a casual look can be interpreted as condemnation. Uncertainty in contemporary life is increased by the same system that once shielded early humans from harm. However, this sensitivity also results in exceptional intuition. Long before others notice, these people pick up on subtle inconsistencies, mood swings, and social cues. The amygdala's alarm can be calmed through self-awareness, mindfulness, or therapy, turning fear into attentiveness. A heightened perception is often what appears to be fragility. When guided carefully, the neurotic brain's vivid alertness about the world transforms into wisdom rather than anxiety. Different brain circuits are used by agreeable people to process empathy. When we witness someone else experiencing joy or pain, the brain's mirror systems become active. However, these circuits fire more intensely in people who are very agreeable. Their emotional resonance-producing areas, the anterior insular and anterior cingulate cortex, react as though they were experiencing other people's emotions. They are natural healers in social situations because of their profound empathy, which fosters harmony, forgiveness, and trust. However, because continuous resonance can deplete emotional energy, it also makes them susceptible to fatigue. Their generosity is biological rather than just moral. It results from the way their brains combine empathy and perception into a single, cohesive reaction. Human cooperation has been shaped by this sensitivity over many generations. Empathy might not be an instinct, but rather a concept in the absence of such wiring. People who are agreeable remind us that empathy is a deep and direct feeling that cannot be learned. There is more emotional and cognitive crosstalk in creative people. The lines separating thought and emotion are less distinct in creative minds. Planning and reasoning take place in the prefrontal cortex, which has more open communication with the limbic system, which produces emotion. Imagination can translate emotion into structure in music, writing, invention, and art, thanks to this neural crosstalk. This combination of impulse and order fosters creativity. Originality is fueled by emotional charge and guided by cognition. These brains hold chaos without panic until patterns emerge, allowing them to tolerate ambiguity longer than most. This adaptability results in precise yet seemingly impromptu ideas. According to scientists, the same pathway that generates inspiration also becomes more intense, which helps to explain why many creative people experience intense emotions and occasionally struggle with mood swings. Knowledge. Therefore, creativity is the brain's method of converting emotion into design, making the private language of feeling visible, audible, and intelligible to others. Richer sensory experiences are associated with high openness. People who are open-minded frequently say that the world is more colorful, louder, or textured than other people think. Perception and imagination can coexist because of the stronger communication between their sensory and association regions. A musical composition may glisten with hues. Entire landscapes can be evoked by a scent. They are more susceptible to overstimulation as a result of this sensitivity, but it also fosters creativity and wonder. Noise or confusion can overwhelm the same brain that finds beauty in a ripple of light. This vividness, a greater awareness of life's richness, is both a gift and a challenge. Reality is never flat or typical for these people. The rest of us might only be able to hear half of the living symphony that is created by every sound, shade, and breath. For them, nothing changes in the world. They just experience it more intensely, as if life is humming nearer to the skin. Subtle feelings may be blocked out by those with low openness. Not all minds are looking for new things. Stability, clarity, and control are valued by those with lower levels of openness. In order to keep their attention on the familiar, their brains function as filters, blocking out small distractions. Comfort and dependability are supported by this efficiency. They find comfort in predictability. It gives them a sense of stability. These people give progress the stability it frequently forgets it needs. In a world that is changing quickly, they are not less perceptive because of their filtered perception. It indicates that they focus on the things they already have faith in. This focus makes it possible to achieve excellence through accuracy, wisdom through consistency, and mastery through repetition. They maintain equilibrium while others pursue surprise. They are the roots in the ecosystem of human nature that keep the soil stable as the winds of innovation blow by. They maintain civilization rooted in the familiar by calmly refusing to be carried away. Awe comes more naturally to certain types of people. When the self encounters something greater, such as the quiet perfection of a single leaf or the curve of a galaxy, awe arises. People with high levels of curiosity, humility, and openness are more likely to experience this feeling. They are able to momentarily dissolve into the vastness they perceive, because their brains exhibit higher activity in sensory areas and lower activity in self-centered ones. Frequent moments of awe promote altruism, connection, and stress reduction. Even a change in lighting or an abrupt pause can inspire awe in these people. Grandeur is not necessary. This sensitivity serves as a spiritual reflex, reminding the mind that it is a part of something vast and enigmatic. Awe is expansion rather than escape. Without using words, it teaches humility. Those who pause in wonder are the ones who remember how limitless a moment can be in a world that frequently moves quickly. Mental flexibility is correlated with the ability to wonder. Those who continue to be amazed by ideas, coincidences, and rainbows typically have adaptable minds. When curiosity triumphs over fear, wonder emerges. During these times, the brain releases dopamine, which promotes learning and exploration. Individuals high in cognitive flexibility allow this openness to thrive, shifting between logic and imagination with ease. They are more resilient and creative because they can tolerate uncertainty without becoming frustrated. This connection between wonder and adaptability means that amazement is not naive, it is an indication of mental fortitude. The ability to say, "I do not know," and still feel joy is one of the highest human capacities. Those who keep their sense of wonder live in a world that never stops unfolding. Their curiosity turns the unknown into an invitation rather than a threat. Wonder is the mind's quiet proof that growth is still possible. A sense of humor reveals more about your psyche than you think. Laughter is a mirror held up to thought. The kind of humor a person enjoys reflects the way their mind organizes surprise, tension, and truth. Those who love wordplay tend to process information quickly, delighting in incongruity. People drawn to gentle humor often possess high empathy, preferring jokes that unite rather than divide. Dark humor correlates with emotional stability, allowing people to confront pain with irony rather than fear. Every laugh is a release of energy once spent managing contradiction. It signals cognitive agility and emotional health. Humor binds groups, softens hierarchy, and builds resilience. The joke itself matters less than the spark it reveals. The mind's ability to dance with discomfort. When someone laughs easily, it is not a sign of shallowness, but of adaptability. To laugh is to survive the absurdity of being human with grace, intelligence, and light. Dark humor appreciation correlates with intelligence and low aggression. People who enjoy dark humor are often more emotionally resilient and cognitively flexible than they appear. To find amusement in something grim, the brain must juggle irony, empathy, and logic all at once. It is a form of emotional multitasking that calls for sharp reasoning and a secure sense of safety. Studies show that those who appreciate morbid or taboo jokes tend to score higher on verbal intelligence and exhibit lower aggression. Their laughter is not cruelty but distance, a way to look at what frightens humanity and turn it into manageable absurdity. The mind reframes terror as pattern, tragedy as puzzle. This act releases tension rather than feeding hostility. Dark humor may not soften the world, but it gives the mind a tool to face what cannot be changed and still whisper, "I understand the darkness, and I am still here to laugh." Sarcasm activates complex reasoning regions in the brain. Sarcasm requires a mind nimble enough to recognize contradiction and context simultaneously. When someone uses a sarcastic tone, listeners must detect the literal statement, identify the mismatch between words and intention, and infer the hidden meaning beneath. Neuroimaging reveals that this mental dance activates parts of the prefrontal cortex, responsible for perspective-taking and social reasoning. It also engages the temporal lobes, which decode tone and nuance. In other words, sarcasm is a linguistic workout. It strengthens the bridge between logic and empathy, forcing both to operate together. The ability to use or understand sarcasm depends not just on vocabulary, but on emotional intelligence and timing. A well-placed sarcastic remark says, "I know you know that I do not mean what I said." It is a spark of shared awareness, a tiny test of intellect and social harmony, disguised as playful mischief. People who laugh easily tend to form stronger social bonds. Laughter is one of the oldest languages humans share. Long before structured speech, our ancestors used laughter to signal safety, belonging, and cooperation. Modern research shows that frequent, genuine laughter triggers the release of oxytocin, a hormone that deepens trust. People who laugh easily invite others into this gentle physiological synchrony, aligning breath and heart rate, lowering cortisol, and diffusing threat. A single shared laugh can turn strangers into allies for a moment. Those who can find humor in ordinary life are often seen as more approachable, more forgiving, and more resilient. Their laughter becomes social gravity, drawing others near. The bonds that form through this rhythm often last because they are built on calm joy rather than constant excitement. To laugh easily is not to take life lightly, but to remind everyone around you that connection can begin with sound, not words. Personality determines whether stress energizes or exhausts you. Under tension, some people surge with energy, while others wilt. The difference often lies in baseline temperament and interpretation. People high in emotional stability tend to view stress as challenge, activating adrenaline in a focused, constructive way. Those high in neuroticism perceive stress as threat, triggering hormonal patterns that drain and destabilize. It is the same chemical storm, but filtered through different cognitive lenses. Optimists draw momentum from difficulty, while worriers lose reserves, trying to predict what might go wrong. These responses are not moral strengths or weaknesses. They are survival styles, shaped by early environment and inherited nervous system settings. Over time, mindfulness, rest, and supportive relationships can shift the reaction curve, teaching even sensitive bodies to channel stress into clarity rather than collapse. Whether energy or exhaustion follows pressure depends not only on the event, but on the inner translator interpreting it. Optimists recover faster from emotional setbacks. Optimism acts as emotional shock absorber. When disappointment strikes, optimistic individuals interpret the pain as temporary and specific, rather than permanent and global. Their minds say, "This is a moment, not a sentence." That framing matters biologically. It reduces stress hormone duration and helps the immune system rebound. Optimists naturally engage coping mechanisms sooner, reaching for social contact, humor, or creative distraction. They allow themselves to imagine better outcomes, and that imagination becomes behavioral momentum. Even their neural activity reflects this pattern. Brain scans show faster return to baseline in regions linked to negative emotion. Over years, this becomes self-reinforcing. Each successful recovery teaches the mind that healing is possible, which builds further resilience. Optimism is not naive denial of hardship. It is a learned confidence that suffering can pass, and the self that remains afterward may even emerge stronger. Chronic pessimism can subtly shorten lifespan. A persistently negative worldview quietly taxes the body. When the brain constantly anticipates threat, it keeps the stress response slightly activated. Cortisol remains elevated, heart rate recovery slows, and inflammation increases. These small physiological ripples accumulate over decades. Pessimists often experience disrupted sleep, higher anxiety, and reduced motivation to engage in healthful behaviors. Yet the mechanism is not simply about outlook, it is about vigilance. The mind believes it must prepare for harm at all times, and the body obeys that belief. Over years, this permanent readiness erodes systems meant for repair. Interestingly, moderate realism can protect against both extremes. Balanced thinkers recognize risk without surrendering to it, allowing the body to rest between storms. Pessimism may feel like caution, but in biological terms, it becomes slow abrasion. Hope is not just comfort, it is maintenance for the machinery of life. Extroverts tend to underestimate risks and overestimate control. Extroverted individuals often feel more capable of influencing outcomes than they truly are. Their brains deliver stronger dopamine signals when faced with new or uncertain situations, which makes novelty feel rewarding instead of frightening. This chemistry encourages exploration and leadership, but also underestimation of danger. Extroverts may assume that charm or determination can outweigh structural limits, leading them to take bolder chances. Their optimism draws others in, creating energy and collaboration that sometimes compensates for risk blindness. However, the same confidence that propels groups forward can expose them to missteps if not balanced by cautious voices. The world advances through this dance between boldness and restraint. Extroverts supply the spark, reflective minds supply the map. When these two forces respect each other, Progress happens without collapse. Confidence is beautiful when it listens. It becomes hubris only when it forgets to ask, what if? Conscientious people live longer on average than impulsive ones. Long-term studies show that conscientiousness strongly predicts lifespan. This trait involves reliability, self-discipline, and attention to detail, which translate directly into healthier habits. Conscientious people tend to avoid dangerous shortcuts, follow medical advice, and maintain stable sleep and nutrition routines. They are also less prone to addiction and reckless behavior. The cumulative effect of these small, sensible choices is profound. Their bodies experience fewer extreme stress episodes, fewer accidents, and better recovery from illness. Impulsive individuals, while often creative and daring, may push limits in ways that wear the body down. It is not about moral virtue, but about energy management. The patient plumber conserves resources. The thrill seeker spends them fast. Evolution likely kept both types, because society needs caution and courage in balance. Longevity tends to favor the cautious, but history often remembers the bold. Both serve life in different tempos. Impulsivity is partly heritable and partly environmental. Impulsivity begins with biology. Some people inherit neural circuits that fire reward signals quickly and inhibit them slowly. Their dopaminergic systems activate early, instructing the body to move prior to complete reflection. However, destiny is not written by genes. The way that impulsivity manifests is shaped by the environment. It can develop into courage, inventiveness, and spontaneity in encouraging, controlled environments. It can turn into self-sabotage or risk-taking in disorganized or careless ones. The impulsive mind learns to stop without putting out its flame through early discipline, safety, and rule modeling. The living dialogue between inherited wiring and lived experience is what scientists refer to as gene-environment interplay. One person may be a skilled improviser due to the same characteristic that makes another reckless. Guidance, not repression, is what counts. Impulsivity is the movement of energy. With time, that energy transforms into movement instead of chaos, into invention instead of destruction. Career satisfaction and financial habits are predicted by personality. Work and money are as much a reflection of temperament as ability. Careful budgeting, close attention to detail, and long-term planning are common traits of conscientious people. They find solace in routine and postponed satisfaction. While introverts flourish in solitary, creative, or analytical settings, extroverts are drawn to positions requiring leadership, teamwork, or social energy. Individuals with high levels of openness may prioritize education, travel, or the arts over security, investing in ideas rather than stability. Harmony is a top priority for agreeable people, sometimes at the price of aggressive negotiation. Every orientation has advantages and disadvantages. When a person's personality and profession complement each other rather than clash, success increases. While someone who craves structure struggles with chaos, someone who needs autonomy suffers under micromanagement. When your work rhythm aligns with your nervous system, you will feel fulfilled. The difference between task and temperament is more important than the salary. The key to a fulfilling career is to stand where you can breathe, not to climb to the top. Leaders typically exhibit low neuroticism and high extroversion. Individuals who exude calm and confidence are naturally followed. Low neuroticism permits poise under pressure, while high extroversion results in obvious excitement. When combined, these attributes foster stability and trust. However, leadership is social regulation, not just being loud or stoic. The group adopts the leader's nervous system as a model. Others will synchronize toward focus if it is steady. If it falters, everyone becomes anxious. This dynamic explains why, despite their lack of expertise, extroverted, emotionally stable personalities frequently rise in hierarchies. They convey a sense of safety and competence is synonymous with safety. Nevertheless, empathy and flexibility are just as important for effective leadership as audacity. Introverted visionaries, who led by insight rather than volume, were among the most influential people in history. In actuality, timing is more important for leadership than type. Whether the world needs a whisper of peace or a voice of fire depends on the moment. People with high levels of openness are creative and lacking in conformity. Novelty is delightful to open minds. They are prepared to venture into ambiguity and come back with odd finds. This openness evolves into creative fire when paired with low conformance. These people are less constrained by regulations, more at ease taking risks, and more adept at integrating opposing viewpoints. Where others see only confusion, they find inspiration in chaos. Highly open individuals, according to neuroscientists, exhibit greater cross-communication between the brain networks in charge of imagination and logical control, enabling the formation of odd associations. Instead of being suppressed, low conformance guarantees that those associations are expressed. Therefore, creativity is permission rather than chance. The voice in your head telling you to give it a shot. This tension is essential to culture. Without transparency, society becomes stagnant and non-conformist. It falls apart. Between the two lies true creativity, which breaks form just enough to allow light to enter without destroying the entire structure. Empaths automatically mimic the facial muscles of others. Empaths feel emotions, almost like they're spreading. Subtle facial muscles mimic someone's expression when they see it, frequently in a split second. Through physical replication, this micro-imitation aids the brain in comprehending the emotions of the other person. It serves as an unintentional link between bodies. The anterior cingulate cortex and insula, which connect emotion and sensation, are involved in the process. Empaths can provide profound comfort because they mirror so well, but they are also prone to fatigue. The deluge of borrowed emotion necessitates recuperation time that others might not need. Thus, social fatigue and strong empathy can coexist. It serves as a reminder that compassion is not just moral, but also physiological. The empath partially relives pain rather than just imagining it. Their biology, a nervous system adjusted to resonate with the surrounding hearts, is the foundation of their tenderness. People high in agreeableness tend to forgive more readily, and that same forgiving heart often becomes the model your children learn from, showing them how to let go of hurt and keep love alive. Harmony and connection are important to agreeable personalities. When they are harmed, they frequently look for explanations before taking revenge, presuming miscommunication rather than malice. Forgiveness feels more satisfying than resentment because their empathy systems are activated. This quality can keep relationships intact during trying times, enabling reconciliation when others would sever ties. However, if boundaries are not taught, it can also put them at risk for ongoing harm. Forgiveness is letting go of the urge to exact revenge. Not forgetting, this release occurs quickly for the agreeable person because conflict is physically uncomfortable. Only when there is peace does their nervous system relax. Thus, the same pattern that fosters friendship may also ensnare them in unbalanced relationships. For them, real healing entails learning to be kind without allowing cruelty and to forgive without giving up safety. Mercy is their gift, but even mercy requires a closing door. Fragile self-esteem can occasionally be concealed by narcissism. A fragile core is frequently concealed behind a narcissistic exterior. Deep insecurity is protected by the arrogant tone, incessant self-reference, and desire for praise. Many learn from early experiences of conditional love or neglect that one must earn one's value through show. The inflated self turns into armor, polished to the point where it obscures the tender inside and blinds others. Panic increases when admiration wanes because silence is like erasure. Although it reveals motivation, comprehending this mechanism does not justify manipulation. In addition to being conceited, narcissistic people rely on other people to give them the appearance of stability. Boundaries without hatred can be established with compassion for this reality. While refusing to support the performance, one can recognize the wound beneath the haughtiness. Narcissism is a solitary attempt to be seen by a mirror that never really reflects back love, beneath the glitz and echo. Empathy and psychopathy share a neural spectrum. A single light switch that can be turned on or off does not represent empathy. It consists of several parts that can change on their own. Feeling another person's emotions is a component of emotional empathy. Understanding another person's emotions is a component of cognitive empathy. The second is frequently present without the first in people with psychopathic traits. They accurately read cues but don't react. Brain imaging reveals normal or even increased activation in areas related to reasoning about the motivations of others, but decreased activation in areas involved in emotional processing, such as the amygdala. This makes manipulation and strategic charm possible. People who experience other people's emotions too strongly run the risk of burnout. The vast, typical range of human empathy, which can be altered by experience and decision, lies between them. We are reminded by the spectrum that morality is not based on a single circuit. It depends on how comprehension and emotion come together in the conscience. Guilt is more intense for highly conscientious people. Responsibility is sacred to a highly conscientious person. The intermo alarm is loud when they malfunction even a little. Sharp self-criticism can be produced by the same circuitry that promotes meticulous planning and dependability. According to physiological research, these people experience increased stress reactions when they make mistakes. As if re-editing an unchangeable scene, their brains replay the error. Accountability is a benefit. The drawback is fatigue. Persistent guilt can result in emotional exhaustion, insomnia, and perfectionism. However, communities continue to function because of their integrity. They are the ones who keep an eye out for overlooked details, fulfill their commitments, and can't stop working until the task is done correctly. Even though they seldom treat themselves with the same compassion, the world depends on them. Their last act of duty, the point at which conscience transforms into equilibrium, is learning to forgive themselves. Accurate self-perception is correlated with humility. Often misinterpreted as weakness, humility is actually cognitive precision. Humble people have a clear, undistorted view of themselves. They accept shortcomings without collapsing and strengths without exaggeration. According to brain research, when corrected, they exhibit less defensive reactivity, which speeds up learning. Relationships are strengthened by this serene realism because it eliminates the need for continual approval. Near humility, others feel secure. It makes space for a common truth. Culturally, humility keeps people working together and keeps dominance hierarchies from eating into empathy. By lessening the draining pursuit of superiority, it safeguards mental health on an individual basis. Pretending to be less is not true humility. It's not pretending to be more. Like a compass that points to honesty, even in chaos, it stabilizes the identity. Since there is nothing left to prove, growth is made easier in that silence. Repeated success stories can help teach confidence. Confidence is not enigmatic, it's conditioning. The brain records every instance in which an individual overcomes a challenge and achieves success as evidence of their ability. The stronger the self-belief, the more evidence there is. Reinforcement loops between the prefrontal cortex, which assesses results, and the hippocampus, which stores experience, enable this process. Long-lasting confidence is better developed through gradual exposure to manageable challenges than through abrupt leaps. Micro-victories, like reaching modest objectives or honoring self-promises, are also significant. These build up to a silent certainty over time. Therefore, confidence does not equate to conceit or a denial of fear. It is courage arranged in memory. With practice, anyone can develop it. Reframing failure as information instead of judgment keeps the loop intact. The best way to develop confidence is through perseverance. which teaches the mind to trust its own healing. Every 7 to 10 years, personality changes a little bit. Personality is dynamic, according to longitudinal research. Modest but detectable changes take place over about 10 years. Impulsivity usually declines, emotional stability improves, and conscientiousness increases. Learning, hormonal evolution, and environmental adaptation are all reflected in these slow changes. Even in adulthood, the brain's plasticity permits new wiring that is influenced by relationships, routines, and recurring emotional patterns. Significant life changes, like changing careers, losing a loved one, or becoming a parent, can hasten the process and force a reassessment of priorities. Personality develops rather than disappears. As the arrangement changes, the main melody stays identifiable. People frequently experience a gradual sense of wisdom or gentleness as a result of this ongoing soft remodeling. Authenticity is completed by change, not erased. The you of today isn't a betrayal of who you once were. It's the beautiful result of every season you've lived through, including the sleepless nights and tender moments with your kids, and your heart is still open to growing even more. Adolescence is a crucial time for personality development. One of the most significant periods of brain remodeling in a person's lifetime occurs during adolescence. Experience is physically etching uniqueness into the nervous system, because neurons are reinforced when used and trimmed back when not. While areas for long-term planning are still developing, emotional centers mature rapidly. Impulsivity and intensity feel so overwhelming at this point because of this gap. Additionally, it explains why betrayal, shame, friendship, and first love all seem almost cosmic in scope. Because belonging teaches safety, the social world is more important than nearly everything else. At the cellular level, beliefs about love, power, trust, and worth are being formed. By the end of this time, the mind continues to respond to the world in a way that can reverberate for decades, whether loudly or softly. Around the age of 30, personality tends to stabilize. Early adulthood is when the mind starts to form recognizable and repeatable patterns. A feeling of internal continuity is produced when thought and emotion patterns begin to reinforce one another. Reactions are now more measured and predictable because the brain's self-control, planning, and emotional regulation regions have fully developed. Preferences become more apparent. Values start to seem unassailable. A more stable scene, akin to the formation of a center of gravity, replaces the constantly changing scene of younger years. At this stage of life, a lot of people say they feel like they know what kind of life they can live in peace, and what kind of life will be too expensive. The self becomes less experimental and more deliberate, guided by earned self-knowledge as well as possibilities. Characteristics can change as a result of significant life events, like marriage or parenthood. Deep commitments reorganize priorities and penetrate deep into the nervous system. Attention naturally shifts outward when a person starts dating someone else or takes on parental responsibilities. The brain starts to reward cooperation, protection, and care. What was once considered optional is now considered sacred, even if those traits were previously difficult to acquire. People who adopt these ties frequently discover that they are becoming more patient, dependable, and emotionally stable. One's sense of self extends to encompass other people. Individual impulses are no longer used to measure time. Instead, shared milestones are used. In order to detect signals of another person's needs more quickly, the nervous system even adjusts itself. The former self does not vanish. It is that new rooms are constructed within it. Rooms designed for responsibility, tenderness, and the extended, leisurely practice of staying. A person's personality may be compressed into survival-oriented patterns by trauma. The mind narrows itself around safety when the body has endured too much fear. Because curiosity can seem risky, it wanes. Unexpected events have not been pleasant, so spontaneity wanes. The emotional system starts to be vigilant. Even in quiet areas, it looks for danger. This is not a sign of weakness. The person was able to endure what shouldn't have been endured because of this survival response. However, this protective narrowing may eventually start to feel confining to interests wane. It becomes challenging to trust. Life doesn't seem as big as it used to. Teaching the body that the narrative has changed is the gradual and meticulous process of healing. The mind remembers how to open again with time, encouragement, and constant safety. Curiosity returns in gentle moments. Softness does the same. One moment at a time, the self that was compelled to fold back in on itself can emerge. Personality traits can be measurably altered by long-term therapy. Continuous therapy is more than just talking. Neural training is what it is. The nervous system learns to wait before reacting by repeatedly observing thoughts, identifying emotions, and investigating reactions in a secure environment. The brain areas responsible for self-awareness and emotional control become more synchronized over the course of numerous sessions. Previously, fear-based reactions give way to thoughtful ones. Individuals who used to shut down start to remain present. Individuals who were previously brittle start to feel more flexible. These aren't delusions. These temperamental changes are quantifiable and long-lasting. The mind discovers that knowledge alone can alter its own patterns and that it is not powerless within them. This process helps many people become less controlled by their past pain, more open with others, calmer and kinder to themselves. Thus, healing is more than just relief. Healing turns into identity work. Openness and agreeableness can change when one relocates to a different culture. It's like stepping into a different emotional environment when you enter a foreign culture. Social norms are not the same. In one location, what is considered courteous is considered distant. In some places, what is considered honest is considered impolite. In addition to language, the mind must adjust to tempo, rhythm, humor, and expectations. This constant adjustment fosters perspective and adaptability. Additionally, it helps people become more tolerant of differences because they no longer perceive them as dangerous, but rather as normal. Living in a culture other than one's own frequently fosters humility in day-to-day living, creativity in problem-solving, and patience in communication. Having to see things from another person's perspective just to survive makes it easier to do so. Returning home does not always erase that recurring act of perspective-taking. It becomes ingrained in how the self moves through the world. Exposure to travel tends to increase curiosity and flexibility. The brain's orienting systems are stimulated by novel surroundings, unfamiliar sounds, unfamiliar gestures, unfamiliar food, and unfamiliar architecture all communicate to the nervous system to pay attention. Routine can subtly numb certain parts of the mind, but that attention awakens them. Individuals who spend significant time in various locations frequently come to accept and even relish uncertainty. Traveling teaches you that not everything will go as planned, and that it's not the end of the world, which makes you more patient. Every moment becomes a tiny invitation to learn, which increases curiosity. Rigid assumptions tend to become softer over time as a result of this repeated exposure to new experiences. Defending a particular lifestyle as the right one is less necessary. Rather, there is a growing awareness that reality is far more expansive than one initially realized, and that the world is made up of many worlds. More emotional stability and empathy are frequently brought about by aging. Emotional storms become less powerful over time. The mind becomes more patient, and the body becomes less reactive. It's not because emotions wane. This is due to the deepening of perspective. The nervous system starts to realize that states are transitory after enough loss, healing, and unexpected changes. Fear is fleeting. Anger is fleeting. Although it moves, grief is real. A certain gentleness toward oneself and others can emerge from this quiet understanding. It is common for older adults to report feeling more easily touched and less easily provoked. Because life has shown how frail people are, compassion comes more naturally. Proving something becomes less important than tending to something. Here, stability is not a dulling. Years of enduring what once seemed unsurvivable have given rise to this gentle, yet strong, steadiness. Most people become more diligent as they get older. Daily responsibilities gradually mold the mind into dependability throughout adulthood. Bills need to be paid. You have to honor your commitments. Loved ones need to be taken care of. Even in times of low energy, work must be done. Every one of these requirements turns into a form of attention and follow-through training. The brain develops planning, anticipation, and consequence thinking skills. Although they are still there, impulses are less dominant. The system of rewards itself starts to shift. A sense of accomplishment is becoming more and more apparent in the correct order, in a stable state. What used to feel like limitation now starts to feel grounded. For a lot of people, this sense of order is not about control per se. It is about safeguarding what is important. Conscientiousness eventually comes to feel more like devotion than effort. Later in life, neuroticism typically decreases. Though there hold lessons, anxious thoughts do not go away. The mind learns to withstand intense emotions through repeated exposure to loss, uncertainty, and change. Over time, the body ceases responding to any uncertainty as an emergency. Stress hormones settle faster. There is a slight widening of the gap between trigger and response. There is room for choice in that area. A greater capacity to let go of minor things without swallowing them is reported by many older adults. They reserve their energy for the important things. Additionally, there is a subtle transition from contemplation to acceptance. The gentler question, "Will I still be here, even if everything falls apart?" gradually replaces the more serious one. Relief follows that realization. The nervous system has greater self-confidence. It feels peaceful to have that trust. Happiness is more predicted by some personality traits than by income. After basic needs are satisfied, long-term research conducted in numerous locations indicates that emotional stability, optimism, and kindness are stronger indicators of life satisfaction than wealth. Even those without high status or opulent surroundings who are able to calm their own distress, reframe disappointment, and connect warmly with others tend to report higher levels of well-being. This does not imply that money has no purpose. Comfort is important. Safety is important. However, temperament eventually dictates how experience is interpreted. Even if two people go through the same day, one will remember humor, support, and small pleasures, while the other will remember insults, fatigue, and threats. The environment in which happiness thrives or dies is determined by how the mind interprets the world. In this way, well-being encompasses both what occurs and who is present to deal with it. Over time, practicing gratitude can improve agreeableness. The focus of attention gradually changes when someone consistently stops to observe what they value. While resentment and irritation are still present, they are no longer the sole narrative. Warmth makes the nervous system more accustomed to it. It becomes simpler to access emotions like tenderness and respect. People who consciously cultivate gratitude over time often become more understanding during conversations, more understanding after disagreements, and less inclined to assume the worst about other people. This is reflected in biology. Hormones are linked to an increase in bonding. Stress reactions subside faster. Fake happiness is not the outcome. As a result, expanding understanding is made easier. The internal attitude shifts from being defensive to being cooperative. Gentleness becomes easier to give and receive as a result of a genuine personality adjustment that starts as a silent nightly habit. Lifelong learning is predicted by high curiosity. Inquisitive minds view the unknown as an invitation rather than a danger. Throughout life, that mindset promotes ongoing interaction with novel concepts, individuals, and abilities. Every time something is learned or discovered, curiosity triggers reward pathways in the brain, resulting in a brief rush of pleasure. Learning becomes self-reinforcing as a result. Additionally, It guards against stagnation. Because they are accustomed to revising their beliefs, people who maintain their curiosity are more likely to adapt. Their ability to transform adversity into a question, and then that question into growth, makes them more resilient as well. Because new information is constantly coming in, memory remains richer. Because curiosity about the world so readily turns into curiosity about other people, empathy can even grow. As a result, even as people age, their personalities remain active, adaptable, playful, and vibrant. Neurotic tendencies can be mitigated by a strong sense of purpose. Anxiety flourishes in meaningless uncertainty. Worry loses much of its power to control attention. When a person is guided by a purpose, no matter how small, stressful situations are now more than just uncomfortable. They are a path's steps. This alters the body's physiological reaction. Although it does not spiral as quickly, the stress response is still triggered. Focus comes back more quickly. Recuperation occurs sooner. The mind has something solid to hold on to when there is a clear reason to act, which reduces rumination. Additionally, purpose channels energy in the direction of creation, protection, service, or craft. That external movement breaks the pattern of self-criticism. Meaning becomes emotional scaffolding in this way. It doesn't make fear go away. It merely provides a safe haven for fear to rest until it is able to breathe again. Altruism can rise with compassion, training in quantifiable ways. Certain areas of the brain involved in comprehending the emotions of others become more responsive when an individual actively practices compassion, even through guided imagination or meditation. Instead of being defensive, heart rate patterns start to show serenity and openness. This internal training starts to change behavior on the outside over the course of weeks and months. Conflict makes people more patient. They don't interrupt as much. They provide greater comfort. They donate without asking for credit. This kindness has nothing to do with civility. It concerns the preparedness of the nervous system. In fact, the body starts to care more. The lovely thing is that this shift frequently results in a feedback loop. Kindness is reinforced by acts of connection, and connection enhances well-being, which in turn reinforces kindness. At that point, compassion becomes something you are rather than something you do. Regularly expressing awe is associated with higher levels of life satisfaction. The sensation of being in front of something enormous and understanding that you are a part of it is called awe. It can arrive silently while observing the movement of sunlight across a floor, or it can arrive in the presence of a galaxy or a mountain. Moments of awe soften self-concern. Time stretches. The breath gets deeper. The mind begins to receive and ceases to grip. According to studies, people who give themselves permission to feel awe often report feeling less stressed, more giving, and more purposeful in life. Their perception of everything else is altered by this feeling of wonder. I feel less frustrated. Gratitude seems to be greater, because awe reminds the mind that it is a part of a vast, ancient, and living world. Even loneliness is lessened. Awe is thus more than just a feeling. It's medication. Your interpretation of coincidence and randomness is influenced by your personality. Some people believe that the universe is speaking to them after experiencing an odd coincidence. When they come across the same coincidence, other people only consider probability. Stable ways of thinking and feeling are reflected in these variations in interpretation. People with strong, intuitive, or creative tendencies frequently incorporate synchrony into their stories. They perceive guidance, meaning, and alignment. People who value structure and analytical thinking are more likely to perceive randomness, statistics, and pattern noise. Both strategies are incredibly human. Uncertainty is turned into narrative comfort in one style. The alternative approach turns ambiguity into rational serenity. The way a mind interprets a sudden coincidence turns into a kind of mirror. It shows whether that mind is more at ease in a state of wonder, control, or a gentle transition between the two. High pattern sensitivity frequently leads to superstitions. The human brain was designed to recognize warning signs that could indicate danger, even if they later proved to be false. It used to be a survival advantage to hear a sound in tall grass and assume danger. Though it now manifests symbolically, the same instinct is still present. The mind connects two events that occur in close proximity. The connection becomes sticky if the result had emotional significance. The mind may eventually start giving rituals, gestures, objects, or timing authority. It is easier for people with particularly sensitive pattern recognition to establish and maintain these associations. After that, the ritual provides comfort, which in turn strengthens the ritual. It's not just superstition. It is an attempt to establish safety in a world that still seems unpredictable by incorporating ancient vigilance into contemporary thought. Lower perceived control is correlated with belief in fate. Choice can start to feel softer, almost secondary, when one believes that life happens in accordance with destiny. This way of thinking can shield against guilt and regret. There is less space for self-blame and less worry about the path not taken if an outcome was predestined. However, because effort may seem unnecessary, a strong belief in fate can also reduce motivation to take action. This pattern, according to psychologists, can provide solace in times of chaos, but passivity in times of difficulty. A peaceful middle ground where meaning is accepted but agency is still asserted appears to be the most balanced. One can feel guided in that area without feeling powerless. They are able to accept limitations without giving up their role in their own narrative. Your personality affects how you perceive music and art. Paintings and melodies are not the only things that constitute art. The nervous system that receives it is where it resides. Music may feel almost physical to someone who is very receptive to new experiences, such as color, pressure, warmth, or electricity beneath the skin. A highly reflective person might use art as a mirror, looking inward and discovering memories, potential selves, and personal desires within a single sound or picture. An extremely vivacious person might look for movement, volume, rhythm, and the sense of aliveness in a communal setting. Intricacy and subtlety, the silent gears of harmony and detail, might appeal to someone else. One listener may find the same song calming, while another may find it unsettling. One person may find solace in the same painting, while another may find it confrontational. The answer is candid, intimate, and illuminating. In this sense, art turns into a silent dialogue between character and creation. When listening to music, people with high openness experience chills more frequently. Shivering while listening to music is not an arbitrary feeling. It is how the body expresses its awe. The sensory and emotional parts of the brain communicate with each other with remarkable intensity when a person's mind is particularly receptive to novel experiences. The ear is not where sound ends. It penetrates the nervous system, simultaneously affecting emotion, memory, and imagery. An entire wave of neural response can be triggered by a voice that trembles with emotion, a melody that surprises, or a harmony that resolves unexpectedly. Skin tingles, dopamine levels rise, and the listener experiences a brief dissolution of personal boundaries. People who approach life with curiosity and imagination are more likely to experience this physical reaction, due to the fact that their brains are designed for exploration rather than defense. Every musical moment turns into a little epiphany, a reminder that beauty is not just audible, but also fully and unconsciously experienced as awe coursing through the body. Rhythmic music is preferred by extroverts. Complex melodies are preferred by introverts. Depending on temperament, each rhythm and melody has a unique connection to the nervous system. Songs with steady, driving beats are often preferred by people who get their energy from social interaction. Motor regions that connect sound to motion are activated by the repetition, which mimics movement and interaction. By releasing dopamine and oxytocin, dancing, tapping, and singing along increase pleasure through shared experience. On the other hand, people who get their energy from solitude typically prefer intricacy to rhythm. Naturally, their focus shifts to melody and harmonic nuance, where motion is replaced by reflection. The fluctuating tension and resolution of intricate music, where the mind can wander and the emotions develop inwardly, frequently gives them a greater sense of fulfillment. Neither choice is better. Each exhibits a unique method of striking a balance between calm and stimulation. The brain practices its preferred state through music. Its sense of home is defined by either the internal flow of contemplation or the external pulse of connection. Your interpretation of abstract art is influenced by your personality. Being in front of abstraction reveals just as much about the viewer as it does about the artwork. The mind must produce its own meaning when it encounters color and shape without any literal meaning. People who score highly on openness are frequently thrilled by this freedom. Their imagination networks are triggered by their brains, adding symbolic and emotional detail to the unknown. For them, abstraction represents opportunity and serves as a reflection of their own imaginative ideas. On the other hand, people with more structured personalities might feel a little uneasy about the lack of order. They naturally look for familiar shapes and a feeling of mastery. This distinction is both neurological and psychological. Whereas the organized mind prefers clarity, the creative mind prefers ambiguity. However, if they approach it gently, both can find beauty there. Abstract art turns into a conversation between chaos and understanding, an external assessment of one's level of comfort with ambiguity and willingness to find meaning in the absence of it. A preference for humor indicates emotional fortitude. One can infer a person's coping mechanisms from their laughter. People who enjoy witty or ridiculous humor frequently use laughter as a neurological reset that transforms danger into play. Finding humor calms emotional intensity and restores perspective by releasing tension in the amygdala and prefrontal cortex. When sincere, rather than cruel, dark, or ironic humor can indicate profound emotional flexibility. It demonstrates how the mind has adapted to withstand adversity without losing perspective. Comfort with vulnerability and the capacity to express emotions in a safe manner are reflected in gentle, sympathetic humor. All forms of humor strengthen resilience by re-establishing the emotional and cognitive systems after stress has caused them to become disjointed. The brain learns from a single moment of laughter that truth and likeness can coexist, and that the shared breath of laughter can even ease pain. Harmony in relationships and art is preferred by those with high agreeableness. Musical consonants trigger the same neural circuits that react to social cooperation. Harmony itself is satisfying to those who value empathy, forgiveness, and unity. Their brains perceive soft color and tone combinations as signs of security and confidence. The uneasiness of conflict and human connection can be mirrored by harsh dissonance, which can cause discomfort. Taste isn't the only factor here. It illustrates the physiological connection between social and sensory processing. Chords that resolve gracefully after tension may trigger the same systems that light up when people come together after a disagreement. For people with a peaceful temperament, even visual art with balanced symmetry and flowing lines tends to be consoling. For these people, art is more than just a means of expression. Emotional alignment is what it is. It fulfills the same need that propels them toward compassion, understanding, and the peaceful cadence of cohabitation. Even when it comes to aesthetics, people with high conscientiousness prefer structure. Those who appreciate discipline and dependability find great appeal in order, proportion, and intention. This translates to an appreciation of rhythm, balance, and thoughtful design in art or music. The mind is reassured by structured forms that there are patterns and that effort results in coherence. This same system of rewards promotes organization in day-to-day activities. Calm, not boredom, is provided by predictability. Every musical measure or symmetry stroke seems to be a dialogue between patience and accuracy. According to neuroscientists, when conscientious people experience organized beauty, their brain regions related to planning and pattern recognition become more active. For them, structure is a promise rather than something cold. It communicates to the nervous system that order can be translated into color, form, and sound, that meaning can be constructed piece by piece, and that complexity need not entail chaos. Flow states are more common in creative personalities. Those who live comfortably in their imaginations are most likely to experience the state known as flow, where time stops, thought becomes effortless, and awareness becomes one with action. Their minds are adept at maintaining focus while blocking out self-consciousness. The prefrontal cortex momentarily becomes silent during flow, which lessens the voice of internal criticism. Dopamine rises concurrently, boosting pleasure and motivation. Creativity flourishes in this balance between freedom and focus. It can be experienced by athletes, scientists, artists, and even good listeners. Each area of the brain harmonizes with the others in rhythm, much like a well-tuned instrument. Despite having a biological foundation, this state can have a spiritual feel. It is easier to enter that timeless awareness where effort fades and the act of creation feels less like work and more like remembering who you are when you are. The more one cultivates curiosity and openness, the world is quiet. When self-awareness subsides, flow feels timeless. The internal clock becomes ineffective when submerged deeply. The present moment expands when neural systems that typically monitor self-image and track time become less active. There is no energy left for self-commentary because the brain's attention networks are so perfectly matched with the task. The odd feeling that minutes fly by or go on forever is caused by this lack of internal narration. In a physiological sense, stress hormones decrease and breathing and heart rate stabilize. Because no energy is wasted on doubt, creativity and performance are at their highest. People frequently characterize the return of self-awareness as calm but euphoric. The paradox is that one becomes most involved when they forget themselves. There have been reports of this timeless quality in a variety of fields, including meditation, mathematics, and painting. It isn't an escape, it is the union of the mind and its work, moving in a single, unbroken, wordless motion that seems to go on forever. The brain is hardwired to seek out novelty. Survival is the ancient source of curiosity and exploration. The search for stimulation and change is now encouraged by the same neurotransmitter systems that once drove early humans to seek out new food sources or safer havens. Every time the brain comes into contact with something new, dopamine levels rise, rewarding learning and inspiring more research. Everything is shaped by this innate system, including risk-taking and creativity. Due to minor genetic differences that affect dopamine receptors and reward sensitivity, it is strongest in certain individuals. For them, the unknown feels alive and routine feels oppressive. For tens of thousands of years, migration, invention, and art have all been influenced by the desire for novelty. It is inspired as well as impulsive. When it works well, it inspires wonder and advancement. When left unchecked, it has the potential to become reckless. The fundamental instinct, however, is unchanged. A subtle biological reminder that life expands by venturing outside of the known. It is possible that adventure-seeking evolved to disperse human genes. Throughout human history, survival has benefited both those who dared to venture out and those who stayed safe. People who were drawn to exploration possessed characteristics that enabled populations to spread into new areas, adjust to shifting climates, and face novel obstacles. The emotional architecture of the species was shaped by this restlessness. Ancestors were once led to seek out better hunting grounds or new alliances by the same temperament that drives people to cross oceans or climb mountains. This pattern has even been linked by biologists to subtle genetic influences related to dopamine regulation, which affect how rewarding novelty feels. Although not everyone has a strong desire for adventure, Those who do frequently serve as catalysts for group development. Everyone inherits the risk they take. The human story itself is a chronicle of curiosity, spreading outward, penned by minds that felt most alive at the edge of the unknown, and hearts that refused to settle. Dream, recall, and content are influenced by personality. Sleep enhances the self, not lessens it. While logic and inhibition sleep, the brain's emotional centers stay active during rapid eye movement stages. The end effect is a theater where individuality is allowed to take center stage. Imaginative people typically dream with more vibrant colors, textures, and plots. Anxiety-prone people have tense dreams that reflect their alertness during the day. On the other hand, people who are thoughtful or diligent frequently report having dreams that look like problem-solving activities. Real-life experiences are woven into symbolic narratives by memory systems, and the tone of those narratives reflects temperament. Even memory varies. While pragmatic personalities allow fragments to fade, open to introspective, minds have a tendency to bring them back to waking consciousness. Every night's dream cycle turns into a confidential conversation between identity and emotion, an unwritten exchange in which the mind subtly shares its self-perception. More often, extroverts dream of social gatherings. The world the dreaming mind is most familiar with is reflected in it. Sleep does not end the social narrative for those whose energy flows through connection. Rather, it symbolically continues it. Their dreams often feature conversations, get-togethers, laughter, and shared adventures. The same parts of the brain that are involved in social cognition and empathy are still active, creating fictional communities that reflect preferences in real life. By practicing future interactions or going over recent ones, extroverts frequently use this stage play at night to process their relationships and experiences. Instead of feelings of loneliness, their dreams might be filled with excitement or emotional warmth, acting as a sort of overnight rejuvenation of belonging. These patterns show that dreaming is a continuation of personality, where even unconscious life favors the same rhythm of human presence that feeds waking joy, rather than just the brain's maintenance cycle. Nightmares are more intense for neurotic dreamers. Anxiety often follows the mind into sleep, when it is a frequent companion in the waking world. During dreaming, emotional regions like the amygdala and anterior cingulate cortex continue to be extremely reactive, creating images that are laden with helplessness, loss, or fear. These nightmares are not penalties. They are an attempt by the brain to practice survival skills, to practice reacting to danger without actually being in danger. Unfortunately, these situations can seem extremely real to people with high emotional sensitivity. Chronic worry or rumination. Sufferers frequently wake up feeling just as tense as when they went to sleep because their bodies have endured simulated turmoil. These dreams, however, also present opportunities. They open doors to awareness and healing by mirroring the hidden conflicts of the mind. Understanding recurrent themes in nightmares can help therapists identify the unspoken fears that influence waking patterns, turning even upsetting dreams into tools for personal development. Lucid dreams are more common in creative people. Those with highly imaginative minds are more likely to experience lucid dreaming, a state in which the dreamer becomes conscious of their dreams and occasionally has the ability to influence events. Research indicates that creative thinkers have more communication between their conscious and unconscious processing networks, which makes it easier for awareness to cross boundaries. They are adept at using their imaginations while they are asleep. Access to the ideal world is made possible by the same flexibility. The vividness of lucid dreams can be astounding. The dreamer may decide to compose, fly, or explore. This elevated state combines logic and fantasy by concurrently activating the sensory and reasoning regions. Such encounters, where creativity seems effortless and emotion seems limitless, have served as an inspiration to numerous scientists and artists. Not only is lucid dreaming fascinating, but it also demonstrates how permeable the boundaries of consciousness can become when the imagination fully trusts itself. Even while you're asleep, your likelihood of sleepwalking is predicted by certain personality traits. A peculiar twilight state, known as sleepwalking, occurs when some areas of the brain wake up while others stay asleep. According to research, it is somewhat more common in those who have strong inclinations toward impulsivity or external stimulation. Even when they are at rest, their arousal systems are more readily activated, causing the body to move while the conscious mind is in the dark. Temperament affects triggers, but genetics also plays a part. The phenomenon is more prevalent when there is stress, irregular sleep, and emotional overload. This behavior demonstrates how the body and mind can occasionally negotiate control in an uneven manner. As though personality itself is stretching between worlds, the sleeper moves through the darkness in a state of partial awareness. Memory frequently fades in the morning light, leaving only hints of mystery. The incident serves as a reminder that temperament still leaves its mark while we sleep, and that consciousness is a spectrum rather than a single state. Dreams are more vividly remembered by those with high openness. While you sleep, your imagination and memory work together. Dreams are often retrieved with remarkable clarity by those who live with curiosity and introspection. As a result of their innate tendency to focus on internal experiences, they are better able to recognize and remember fragments when they awaken. During rapid eye movement sleep, the hippocampus, which is in charge of storing new memories, exhibits increased activation in these people, enabling images to leave a deeper impression. Those imprints feel more like vivid stories than ephemeral sensations when morning arrives. Dreaming becomes an extension of the creative life because of this tendency. The symbolic storytelling of the night is enhanced by the same openness that fosters artistic expression during the day. As emotional themes or unresolved thoughts surface from beneath awareness, vivid recall can foster insight. When words are asleep, remembering turns into a kind of self-study and a gentle method of learning the language the mind uses. Emotional states can be reflected in the way you sleep. A body's resting position is a form of silent language. Curling inward frequently indicates high sensitivity or protective tendencies. People who spread out on the bed are usually confident and self-assured. Position and emotional tone are consistently linked, according to research on sleep posture. Back sleeping is associated with openness and confidence, whereas other fetal positions are associated with caution and anxiety. Naturally, posture varies during the night, reflecting the activities of the day. Unspoken stress may be indicated by tension in the hips or shoulders. Emotional calm is frequently indicated by relaxed limbs. How safety feels from the inside out is revealed by the body, which speaks the truth that the voice might not. Although they are hints, sleeping positions are not fate. They demonstrate how the unconscious body balances exposure and comfort. Every night, the self is wrapped in its current narrative. After a personality change, dream patterns may slightly change. The dreaming self changes as the waking self does. Dreams frequently change for people who experience significant life changes as a result of therapy, spiritual development, or life events. Symbols that were once chaotic or dark become more serene. Frequent nightmares become less intense. Curiosity and investigation may take the place of themes of fear or control. In order to accommodate its new emotional state, the mind modifies its emotional scripts. This change is quantifiable. Consistent personality development changes the frequency and tone of rapid eye movement activity, as if the brain is relearning how to imagine safety, according to sleep studies. The dream world turns into a mirror of recovery, demonstrating advancements long before they are fully acknowledged during the day. The unconscious practices this new equilibrium night after night, progressively teaching the self that tranquility is nothing new. At last, people are remembering it. Journaling about dreams can help people become more self-aware. The connection between unconscious and conscious thought is strengthened when sleep imagery is recorded. Writing helps to stabilize brittle memories by converting ephemeral feelings into language that the conscious mind can understand. Patterns emerge over time, symbols recur, anxieties fade, and unexpected insights emerge. Regular introspection fosters metacognition, or the capacity to recognize one's own thought processes. Because the practice encourages regular interaction with imagination, it also fosters creativity. A person's memory becomes more vivid the more they write, creating a feedback loop of awareness. Dream journaling becomes more about self-intimacy than it is about interpretation. It instills curiosity about one's inner life, patience, and gentle attention. Eventually, the same awareness starts to permeate even waking thoughts, increasing the person's awareness, present moment awareness, and ease within the vast terrain of their own mind. Throughout your life, experiences and biology maintain an ongoing, gentle conversation that refines who you are. The self is constantly changing. Genetics and environment have a silent molecular conversation every single moment. The structure is provided by DNA, but experience modifies the script by using chemical signaling to turn genes on or off. Every interaction, lesson, act of kindness, and suffering causes the brain to rewire itself. This interaction over time produces the changing pattern that people identify as personality. Both choice and destiny are not predetermined by the body. It is a combination of what is lived and what is inherited. The discussion goes on into late adulthood. Emotional tone and temperament are continuously shaped by new relationships, loss, learning, and love. Not that personality changes, but that it can change indefinitely without losing its identity. A constant voice that gets smarter with every echo of experience is the miracle. With every calm breath you draw in, your mind softly opens and rearranges itself, much like distant stars turning slowly in a faraway galaxy. The voice you call yourself is the result of a chorus of memories, instincts, decisions, and subtle changes that coexist inside of you. There is no one version of you, just the never-ending dialogue between what was learned and what was given, between the soul's reaction and the body's design. Personality is a living landscape that changes like the sea, molded by light, wind, and time, rather than a mask or cage. Every thought that drifts through your mind tonight is a soft, unhurried wave rolling gently across that vast inner ocean. Every breath you take is like a wave pulling you closer to relaxation. I encourage you to like, subscribe, or leave a comment below if you appreciate these peaceful excursions. One drowsy soul at a time, it assists others in making their way here as well. But just take a breath for now. Give your forbs time to lighten. Allow your body to become a part of the silence that lies beneath you. And let yourself be softly carried into peaceful darkness on those gentle waves. Sleep peacefully and deeply. Good night from Sleep Science, Top 1.